Good evening, friends, and you're very welcome to our second live E3 supporter update on Zoom. I'm Trevor. I chair the E3 board here in the UK, and it's my pleasure to be your host again this evening. On behalf of everyone here at E3, we're delighted you could join us for what I hope will be an informative and helpful update on our work in Africa. So tonight we want to update you on the impact that COVID-19 continues to have on the communities that we serve, and to bring you some up-to-date video stories of the impact your support is having through the work of E3 and our partners. To give you a few highlights of our work, here's a slide with some statistics to give you a brief overview. We currently partner with 26 organizations across 6 countries in sub-Saharan Africa, and these include Malawi, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Lesotho, and Eswatini, formerly Swaziland. And we're supporting directly over 36,000 people, and we estimate impacting the lives of over 160,000 others. Our funding is around £325,000 to £330,000 a year, and we're able to make quite an impact with that level of funding. Over 5,800 children receive school uniform and shoes as they participate on our back to school program, and we've over 21,000 people receiving HIV support, including HIV education, counselling, testing, treatment and feeding programs, who are most at need and are very vulnerable. And in addition, then we're helping again over 5,000 people with small businesses and who are being empowered through self-help groups and microfinance loans. So that gives you a bit of an overview of what E3 is doing right now. But tonight we want to introduce you specifically to a few of our project partners, and to let you see how your support is making a huge difference in the lives of these thousands of families and children. So the program for this evening is on your screen right now. We'll focus on 3 aspects of our work tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the impact COVID is having and how we're adapting our response to meet the specific needs within these communities. And secondly, we're going to look at some examples of how our Improving Livelihoods program is helping over 5,000 people as they seek to provide for themselves and their families. Unlike the UK and the US, there hasn't been any COVID support schemes in a lot of these communities. So if people can't work or can't find work, they genuinely are in desperate need. And lastly, we're going to look at how our back to school program is going from strength to strength, particularly as we look at the lives of kids who've been in the program for quite some time, because it's helping keep kids in school and equipped for their education. So throughout the call tonight, please feel free to use the chat in Zoom to ask any questions that you have or would like more information on, and we'll attempt to answer your questions at the end of this presentation. The whole call shouldn't take any longer than an hour, and I'd like to thank you once again for taking time out of your busy Sunday evenings to join us. So now what I'd like to do is to introduce our CEO, Sinatra Matimelo. Sinatra is living in the beautiful city of Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. With the support of his wife, Audrey, Sinatra does an amazing job and ensures that your support has the maximum impact in the communities that we serve. Thank you very much, Sinatra.
Good evening, everyone. As introduced by Trevor, my name is Sinatra Matimelo. I'm the Chief Executive Director of E3 Initiative, and next to me is my wife, Audrey. We're very excited tonight to share with you the work we're doing on the ground. So our first video will focus on COVID-19 and the responses that we've had as an organization. I must say that in all the countries that we are serving, we've realized that there is a reduction in the numbers of COVID-19. Of course, in some other areas, there's an increase. We're not yet in the third wave of the COVID-19, but we've continued with our work despite some of the challenges that have come as a result of COVID-19. Again, I must say that there's a lot of reduction in testing of the COVID-19 pandemic in the communities, partly because the focus has tended to be on vaccinations. Not much vaccination is happening currently in some countries, basically because most people are wary of the vaccines, partly because there are myths going around that when you take the vaccine, it affects your fertility. Other people believe that the vaccine is the 666 mark of the beast, so most people are really shunning to take the vaccine. We've also noticed in South Africa that less than 1% have been vaccinated because the first purchase of the vaccines that were brought to South Africa, which were the AstraZeneca, were not good for the variant that is in South Africa. So we now have the Johnson & Johnson, and only less than 1% of the 59 million people in South Africa have been vaccinated. Let me say that we've adapted very quickly to making changes so as to effectively do our work in the communities that we are serving. We've continued to do work among the poor and people that have struggled as a result of COVID-19. Our main work has been to provide education on COVID-19, to also help recapitalize small businesses, to support the people that we've been working with for many years, whose businesses were affected as a result of COVID-19. We've been very busy this year as well, providing support to people that have suffered as a result of COVID-19 in terms of financial struggles. We provide food parcels. We've continued to provide face masks, sanitizers, and soaps, as you will see in our first video.
E3 partners have continued to help stop COVID-19 spreading by equipping communities with the right information and distributing face masks and hand sanitizer. We have also continued to provide food parcels to those most in need, including back-to-school families, people living with HIV, and refugees who have been unable to run their small businesses. Pastors have struggled hugely because while churches are closed, they don't receive an income because there is no collection plate, so they cannot afford food for their families.
The COVID-19 has been very difficult for almost every pastor in Pietermaritzburg. Yesterday we did help some pastors that are South African, and today we thought would be a blessing to our pastors from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
My name is Mama Francine. I'm serving God in Chandelier Church, House of Intercession. I just want to thank God for this support since last month. The Lord blessed us through this organization, and we were richly blessed. Even some of our children could not even express how much happy they were to see Mother coming inside with the pastors, and the fridge was empty, it was full. And we ask to those who supported us to keep on praying for us, because South Africa is not easy for us, servant of God. But by God working along you, we know that things will be okay.
By the name, I'm Reverend Christopher Lembusa Namkaso. I'm from DRC, and I am very, very grateful to God and to you as well for the support that we have received as a family through this organization. May the Lord bless you, and may you continue to do the same for us and for others who can't be able to put the bread on the table.
Life packs are helping protect vulnerable people from COVID-19. Each pack contains 2 washable face masks, hand sanitizer, and antibacterial soap. E3 partners are giving them to grandmothers to protect them now the grandchildren in their care are back at school. Refugees who earn a living as car guards, street vendors, and shop workers are also receiving them. They cannot run their businesses without one because it is illegal to be in public without a mask.
Gama lami nguV Madlala. Ngizizwa ngijabule kakhulu uma ngithole isanitize nama-mask ngoba sinomndeni wami sesizosanitizer, sifaka ama-mask, sigeze ngensipho, siphephe ngoba ama-sanitizer asidulela etolo. Kodwa namhlanje sithola ama-sanitizer mahhala. Ngozimele wethu, ngiyabonga.
E3 beneficiaries are sewing the face masks and earning an income. Their sewing businesses have been adversely affected by COVID-19 because of lockdowns and reduced sales, so it has been a great blessing to them to have this work. The ladies here are in Swayameni rural community in South Africa and are part of Livelihoods self-help group programme. This lady is Jacqueline and she is part of a microfinance group run by Parent in Durban, South Africa. Jacqueline says, I thank E3 for giving me the opportunity to sew these face masks. I have managed to make money out of this business opportunity since businesses have been negatively affected by COVID-19. Thank you, E3.
My name is Flosila Mimalo. I'm the director of Acts of Faith in Eswatini. During the lockdown, because of COVID-19, children didn't go to school. So government did an intervention by introducing teaching on the radio. So they made sure that though completing classes, our education system runs like the primary school ends in grade 7, then you take an external exam, and the secondary has 2 finishing classes. There's one in Form 3, which is grade 10, then there's one in grade 12. So they concentrated on those classes that they, at least they should let them learn during the school holidays. 5 of the families that we supported responded that they don't have a radio and a cell phone that they can use as a radio. So we immediately bought those 5 radios for them and distributed to the different families. They were so happy and were looking forward to buying more radios for 2021, because even now, as we are in March, the schools are not yet open.
I am grateful to Acts of Faith for these precious gifts they have brought for me, a radio, which helped me during the coronavirus season. It helped me a lot because different subjects were taught through it, and those which I had difficulties on them, bookkeeping and accounting in Siswati. It helped me because I learned a lot, such that on bookkeeping and accounting I got an B, and on Siswati I got an C, which I was grateful with. And I am with my 2 sisters next to me. They were doing grade 7. The radio also helped them because their subject they were also taught through the radio, and they've passed with flying colors, which I am grateful with. Thank you.
Our next video clip who focus on improving livelihoods. E3 initiative and its partner projects have continued to serve different families and different households in the communities we work. We continue to support them to make sure that they provide for their families. So during the COVID-19 lockdowns, there was so much suffering and hunger in most communities that we are serving now. But thank God, currently we are able to now see most microfinance groups and self-help groups starting to meet again and to begin to run their small businesses. We're also excited that a number of pastors that we provided food parcels to and supported during the COVID-19 difficulties when we're in level 3 and level 4, we're now seeing these pastors whom we've supported financially to start small businesses, start to live and support their families again. We've been very busy helping to recapitalize small businesses. It's exciting to see that all the masks that we've provided to the people in communities this year are masks that were made by the groups in the self-help groups and microfinances that we work with, as you will see in the next video clip.
E3 has been helping improve livelihoods through microfinance and self-help groups and income-generating projects since 2012. Currently, 5,080 people benefit from this work in South Africa, Malawi and Zimbabwe. We see people escape income poverty and earn enough money to provide for their families, paying for nutritious food, rent, medical bills, transport, and sometimes even building their own house. Working as part of a group enables them to save and access loans together and builds community as they run their businesses and support and encourage each other. Even the largest businesses in the world have suffered because of COVID-19. So what a challenge it has been for small businesses who were closed during lockdown. The people we support earn a daily income to survive for that day, so they don't have reserves to sustain them through a lockdown. We distribute food parcels to those who have no income because of the restrictions. As lockdowns are eased, people need help to reopen their businesses, including buying stock and making sure that they are complying with COVID restrictions. Meet two women who have been empowered by Zimbabwe to set up and run successful small businesses so they can support their families and others in their community in South Africa. My name is Zandile Masuku. My shop sells snacks, essential items like matches and candles, as well as cell phone vouchers. This business has amazingly earned enough money to sustain me and my family. I have managed to send my 3 children to school. One has completed high school and the other 2 are in grade 11 and grade 5. I am grateful to Zimbabwe for this program. I was sitting at home doing nothing until I was taught how to manage a business. This not only benefits my family, but because I love my community, I also help those in need. I help school children with their homework. I took funds from this business to purchase exercise books for them, and because of the COVID-19 situation, I also bought them face masks and hand sanitizer. I have started small, but I do not wish for this business to remain small like this. I want to see it grow one day at a time. I want to see it at a different level in the next year. Thank you. My name is Ziningi Bonambi, and I am a member of Bula Bezwe Beauty of the Nation self-help group through Zimbabwe. I sell fast food, fried chips and cakes. I started very small and later I managed to secure a converted container to work from, which helped my business grow. My business benefited from the recapitalisation programme last year in December. The support from Zimbabwe stabilised my business. I was able to buy stock and additional equipment because I could not afford to have them before. Thank you. In 2020, we launched E3 sustainability loans with 7 of our partners. Thanks to the interest-free loans, they can set up businesses and earn a consistent income to help fund their ministries, protect them from future changes in funding, and provide job opportunities for local people. Despite the challenges of COVID-19 restrictions, 6 of them managed to start their businesses and begin paying back the loans. Mountaineers for Christ in Lesotho now has running water for its church, school and boarding home thanks to a borehole. The next step is to open a water bottling plant. Paran Cape Town is excited to have launched an Uber Eats business with 3 new motorbikes in Cape Town. The riders will rent to own the bikes from Paran for 12 months. After that, if they reach the agreed rental amount, then they will own the bikes. The riders are looking forward to looking after the bikes well and working hard to meet that goal, which will enable them to support their families into the future. The rental income paid to Paran will repay the E3 loan and contribute to Paran buying more motorbikes for new riders.
My name is Eugene Muganga, a co-founder and a pastor for Paran Christian Ministries in Cape Town. It is a privilege and honor to say thank you for a continuous support from E3 Initiative and a long journey of partnership. Today, I'd like to highlight and put emphasis on our deepest gratitude toward a sustainable loan to start rent-to-own motorbike project. With this new project, we trust the Lord and thank the Lord for seeing the beneficiaries taking ownership. And I believe that through the ownership, they will be able to support their family with a sense of freedom and having enough time even to do more for their families.
My name is Somana Rambasco. From Rwanda. I live here as a refugee. I have got 4 children, and my job is Uber Eats delivery. I hope after 12 months it's going to be mine.
Meanwhile, African United National Baptist Church runs a mobile kitchen. It started out in a tent, but the business was proving to be successful, so with an E3 loan, they bought a mobile kitchen. It can now be towed to different communities and events, and as well as earning a good income, it also allows them to cook food at back-to-school life skills and gender-based violence community workshops. Once the loan has been repaid, the income will help fund the church's work with orphaned and vulnerable children, local pastors, and agricultural activities to improve livelihoods.
We've now bought the kitchen, and we battled a bit to find a spot, where to operate it. But eventually, through connections and friends, we eventually got a spot along Long Market Street, opposite Natalia, in the taxi rank, and it's quite a busy area. There's movement of people throughout the day. We get quite a big support from the employees that are working in those offices, as well as from the travelers that are moving either into or outside the taxi rank. We are finding the mobile kitchen to be very helpful and very versatile, and it has taken a lot of hard work from us as the organizing team in terms of laying out the tent, pitching up the tent, and laying out the equipment and dismantling the tent in the afternoon. That was really hard labor. and what was taking a lot of our time. But since we have had this mobile kitchen, now that time is used profitably in terms of, setting up the trailer immediately and selling. And there is not much time wasted in terms of setting up the place before one can even begin to work. We are very grateful and thankful to the eatery and the sponsors for making us, have the opportunity to see our dream being realized.
Our final video tonight presents our work among orphaned and vulnerable children. Currently, we're supporting more than 5,000 orphaned and vulnerable children, enabling them to go back to school. So we provide school uniforms, we pay school fees, we help prepare meals at schools, we provide sanitary towels, we also run life skills programs to help orphaned and vulnerable children cope with their everyday challenges. We support these children also. We've continued to support these children despite the COVID-19 difficulties that we have experienced and have experienced, especially when we were in a lockdown 3 and 4. But now we're excited that we've continued to be with these children and support them in every way possible. It's our passion and desire to see these children succeed and walk into the opportunities that have been destined for them by God, as you'll see in the next video.
Back to School currently supports more than 5,000 orphaned and vulnerable children in Southern Africa, with new uniform and shoes, life skills, meals, and sanitary pads for teenage girls. It is so exciting to see the fruits of this work, which started in 2012. Some children have completed secondary school, gone on to college, and even started university. We are helping to rewrite these children's stories so they can achieve their dreams. Going to university is a huge challenge for refugee children. Many can't obtain the correct documentation for bursaries. Girls are likely to get married as soon as they finish school, or even sooner. Girls' support groups are encouraging them to follow their dreams and continue with their education. We are introducing you to the Kalenga family, who are refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The grandmother has been in a microfinance group since 2012 and runs her own business. She used the proceeds to build the brick house you can see here. We visited to hear about the difference Back to School has made to them.
My name is Pastor Samson from Key Ministry International, and we partner with the E3 from 2011 and 2012, the time the program they started with the program for Back to School, and then we started with the family for Jeremiah Kalenga, and Jeremiah Kalenga with the grandchildren, including Ibrahim David.
I started my schooling journey here in South Africa by the help of Key Ministry Internationals with working together with E3 initiatives. They have helped me ever since my grade 6. They gave us school uniforms, stationery, and all those things. And also they also gave us they also helped us psychologically by giving us spiritual advice and all those things. They also prepared us. Key Ministry Internationals also prepared me. Speaking on myself, they also prepared me psychologically on how I'll be able to adapt in life, in universities, and all those things.
We can thank God the way Ibrahim was working hard, the way Ibrahim was making us as organization, key ministry and the E3 to be proud to see the child the way he was working hard as a refugee to that level to study about chemistry. That is how I'm crying to say if God can open the door, Ibrahim David can accomplish.
Alongelwa Jeremia. Nashukuru Mungu sana.
Jeremiah, Ibrahim David's grandfather, says, I'm very grateful to God for being assisted by E3. My children and grandchildren got a very huge help from E3. The man of God, Samson Matabaro, is the one who introduced them to us. Now one of my grandchildren is employed by Key Ministries as an administrator because she doesn't have the correct documentation for university. Two are at university and others are in secondary school. I do not know how to appreciate you, but only God will repay you for what you have done for me and my family. Thank you. In Swayamani, E3 partners Inspankosi and Zimbabwe have recently opened a children's healing and support centre. E3 donors funded the renovation and new toilet blocks, and local people created this amazing building. It will be a hub for children's workshops, interventions for back-to-school children, and counselling and support for children affected by sexual and gender-based violence. Community women have started serving breakfast every day for children who most need it, so they can go to school with a full tummy. The ladies are using their self-help group savings to buy food for breakfast and are currently providing for 12 children every day. E3 will help by providing 50% of the meals.
Well, this is Pastor Fuyan Lamini from True Vine Community Church. I would like to talk about Zama. We started with her over 7 years now. She started as a beneficiary of the Back to School program with the help of E3. But I must say, since we've known Zama from her primary school, she has been the best performing learner. At school, she's the top, and at home she is everything to her mom and her disabled sister. And now she is doing grade 8. We know that she is going to do the best that she does. We know Zama as one of the very intelligent girl, as well as very respectful. Both school, church and home. We are happy to assist her with the help of E3. Now she is the beneficiary of the education fund. We as a church and E3, we take care of all her school needs. So that's what we are happy about. We want to see being a doctor one day as her dream. Thank you.
Zama's mother says, my name is Kanasili Nakubu. Zama is my second born child. She is such a thoughtful and helpful child. With my condition, when Zama wakes up and prepares for school, she makes sure that she prepares me breakfast before she goes. And when she returns from school, she checks up on me and asks how my day went. She does the home chores without complaining. Zama loves school. Sometimes I get worried and wonder if she manages to cope with schoolwork, considering all the support she is giving us at home. But her report comes back each time saying she passed with flying colours. I want her to continue working hard and doing well at school, so that she can realise her dream of becoming a doctor. I would love for her to reach that milestone.
I'd like to thank you and True Vine Community Church for giving me this opportunity and support to study further and fulfill my dream of becoming a doctor. E3 supported me with, E3 and Truva and Community Church supported me with the school uniform, school fees, and the transport fee. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sinatra, for those videos. I'm sure you all found them very impactful, very informative, and it's great to understand the wider impact that COVID is having in South Africa and what E3 is doing to help. Wasn't it fantastic to see how grateful people were to receive the food parcels and the life packs? And I was particularly impressed to see Acts of Faith, our partner in Swaziland, distributing radios to enable the kids to continue their lessons when they couldn't go to school. Who knew that you could get a B in accounting through a radio program? I'm not sure I could have. And then in our second video, it was just incredible to see how our sustainability loans are being put to good use to develop incomes for so many. Uber Eats, I think that was the highlight in Cape Town, where the parent or partner is helping some of those guys who are refugees earn a living through funding purchase of motorbikes to allow them to deliver Uber Eats. It's very encouraging to see how these partnerships are working, and our partner, their parent, I visited many years ago. It's great to see them being creative and helping their community there, people like Jean Bosco, to make a living. And lastly, back to school, it just keeps going from strength to strength. Wasn't Zama an inspiration as she studies while taking care of her mother? And again, with over 5,000 children now part of the program, this support is particularly needed among some of the refugee communities. I have to say, I was very touched yesterday when I watched the video of the Kalenga family. Grandfather Jeremiah there, thanking us for our support to his family. And I remember visiting them on a very wet day. I think it must have been 2012, after they started just to receive their first support from E3. And actually it was the grandmother, Mama Kalenga, who had received a small business loan to help start a cassava business. So again, it was moving for me to see this update, but also to see how these years later, how the family has flourished and how grateful they are for the support of E3. I'd just like to maybe take a word and thank especially all the partners of E3 right across all the countries and regions that we serve. It's through trusted partners that we can ensure the impact of your support is maximized across these communities. So again, thank you, Sinatra. Thank you for all the work and effort that went into those videos. And we're going to move on now to some of the questions. I'm probably going to refer these questions back to different people. One in here from Lizzie. She's asking, what is the average length of time E3 partners with a local project for? Maybe Sinatra, you could help us with that one.
That's a very good question. We have not put length to our partnership with projects. What we do is that we build relationships and work in partnership with various projects, empowering each other and being there for each other. Of course, there are times that certain projects begin to lose focus, and such projects, after much mentorship and discussion, If they don't improve, then we replace them with other applicants. But we have not put any length of how much or how long a project can serve with us, because our passion is to build, as I said earlier on, long-lasting partnerships in these communities we are serving. Thank you.
Thank you, Sinatra. And again, just on a slightly different slant, another question here about how COVID has affected people living with HIV. Have they been able to continue accessing the welfare, their medicines, their treatments? And are there any other considerations there for people that are living with HIV with now COVID on top of everything?
Yeah, one of the amazing stories that I would share immediately is what has been happening in Pietermaritzburg. So E3 has funded an organization called Evangelical Seminary HIV and AIDS Program, which has opened an office or a space where people that are not going to the clinics because of lockdown or other problems or restrictions can at any time of the day from 08 a.m. to 5 p.m. collect their medication. So working together with the Department of Health, the Ministry of Health in South Africa and in our province, and working together with nearby clinics, medication is stationed in one place with a nurse, a qualified nurse, to have these medicines collected by people at various times that suit them. And so we have put this office by the taxi rank where people can come out of the minibus, immediately walk into this office, collect the medication and travel back. In Lesotho and other countries where we've been supporting people living with HIV and AIDS, we've not heard of any difficulties of people going to the clinics to collect this medication. If anything, we've also tried to invest some money to encourage project leaders and their staff to ensure that people are not defaulting on their medication, especially those that are on HIV and AIDS treatment. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Sinatra. Another question here. How do you go about building financial resilience for individuals and communities where people on such low incomes must be vulnerable from all kinds of unexpected events? So if we're doing small loans and things, Sinatra, how do we manage things collectively, I guess is the question.
That's a good question. Let me just address the question in two ways. The first is the sustainability loans that E3 has been giving to partner projects to then support people on the ground financially, especially as small businesses struggle with all the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. May I say that these loans, we don't get interest on the loans. They are zero interest loans, and they are also revolving loans. So as people pay back these loans, the loans are then accessed by other partner projects or people that are part of the beneficiaries under this program. So the fixed amount that we've budgeted for these loans, as they get paid off by other people, they're then issued back to other people, and they have to pay in 2 years, so it doesn't put pressure on them to rush into paying. And also, as I said earlier, they don't pay interest on them. Self-help groups and microfinances have also been areas where people are able to access smaller loans for their small businesses, and that has actually created a financial system that enables them effectively run their businesses, recapitalize their businesses. And as they do this within their group, or either self-help group or microfinance group, there's much accountability and systems have been established to actually have people not default and pay back. I know some self-help groups that we run here alongside our partner projects like Zimbabwe. Before the self-help group starts, the chief in the community is informed, the traditional leaders are informed, they're invited to these meetings. And when these loans are given to the people, they know that if they default, it's not just the disappointment that they'll create with E3, but also their traditional leaders. So that has effectively enabled us to ensure that the finances keep circulating to build up these small businesses and also to help the businesses flourish.
Thank you, Sinatra. Another one here. Simon's asking about what our work is doing in Zimbabwe. Maybe you could just summarize that quickly.
The work we're doing in Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Great. In Zimbabwe, we work with two organizations. There's a big organization. The first is Scripture Union. We work with street children, or rather children that are living on the streets. We're also involved in sharing the word of God with these children, getting them off the streets, reuniting them with their families, sponsoring them to go back to school. And those that are, are able to go to college, we also support them to go to college, go and do some skills in colleges. And so we are working with Scripture Union to do that. Then we work with another organization called Family Life Trust in Bulawayo, where they are working to support people living with HIV and AIDS. They're also running a back to school program. And we're very involved in that with that project in Zimbabwe, addressing issues of gender-based violence. We've seen a rise in gender-based violence during lockdowns because many women and children are forced to live with people and locked in a house with them. So there's been growth in numbers of gender-based violence, but Family Life Trust, working with other churches, are able to bring about, advocacy and address this matter of gender-based violence in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Trevor.
Sinatra, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, look, in closing, as you can appreciate, it's been difficult for us in the West to visit our projects in Africa. But as you can see, we've got a great man on the ground, and Audrey, his wife, they're supporting him in South Africa. There are lots of other projects that Sinatra would like to get back to and visit, but with lockdown that just has not been possible. But we'd be delighted in closing if you would continue to support and engage with E3 and our work in whatever way you can. I want to highlight maybe one project tonight. If you're looking for something specific that you might be interested in supporting, we have a fundraising target of £7,500 for this one. It's to drill 2 boreholes and install pumps and taps in 2 very needy communities in South Africa, in KwaZulu-Natal, both very isolated, and the communities are having to draw water from a hole in the ground where animals drink, and obviously long walks associated with water collection. So we've set up a webpage specifically to raise funds for this one. You can access that at our website /water-appeal. And again, we have seen real success in communities where we have been able to bring clean water from a borehole, and it would be wonderful if we could fund this one fairly quickly as well. So I leave that with you. Please stay informed again by checking out our website, Facebook pages, and you'll also find a response page tonight on our website /Zoom-response if you want to look for other ways in which you can stay engaged and support us. Thanks again so much for your ongoing generosity. We're so grateful to you all who give financially to your work. Couldn't do what we do without you. And depending on where you're from, it's great to see some friends tonight from the United States online. There's different ways in which you can give depending on where you're located. So if you've been touched by anything you've heard tonight and would like to find out more about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to me for a follow-up chat. My details will be on the email you receive next week, where you can listen to this again. As ever, we strongly value your prayers for our work. There's a fortnightly email focusing on a different partner every time that you might like to sign up for. Please use that information to pray intelligently for the specific needs described. And yeah, closing, thank you so much for joining us. I'm very grateful for the team who have pulled all this together, especially to Sarah, Sinatra, to Bang in South Africa, and also locally to Brave and Able here in Ballymena, who produced the videos, and to Charlotte for the voiceovers. I trust you all keep well in the days ahead, and that you and your families will know much blessing. Thank you very much, and good night.